This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Joining me now, John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. You look refreshed from maybe a lengthy pickleball tournament or something. You look tanned and rested. What's going on?
Well, I did have a good pickleball outing yesterday morning. Had a good match. You can play a lot of pickleball in a short period of time. We played 7 games. We called it the World Series, best of 7. And every time I hit a great shot, which was not that infrequently, I said that was in honor of Brooks Robinson, Little Rock-born World Series hero for the Orioles of 1970. So that was fun. And then I spent the evening extricating my dog Roscoe from under the deck where he had gotten hung up. So that was Sunday for me, and he came out unscathed. So everything was good.
That's good. Were you a big Brooks Robinson fan when you were younger? I mean, was he a baseball idol of yours?
Yeah, I was growing up and obsessing on Major League Baseball as he was in his prime. He's a consummate Little Rock guy. Grew up son of a Little Rock fireman. Mother worked for the state. I'm pointing right here from where I live, but down here in Midtown at Lamar Porter Field, as a youth, he ran the scoreboard for extra money, helped sell concessions, and was the best player to come through Little Rock or this part of the country, maybe ever, and for the Doughboys. And we're probably said to be the best American Legion team in this region. So, and then I graduated from Central, could have had a basketball scholarship to Fayetteville, instead went with the Orioles and was in the big leagues by age 18. More than you want to know, but yes, I'm a Brooks Robinson guy.
I think it worked out well for him. So
it did, yeah.
Well, all right, let's begin. I think this will be the Governor Sarah Sanders show as we talk about all things the governor's got going on. First of all, this lectern gate, which I guess is what we're going to dub this thing, podium gate, lectern gate, whatever you want to call it. We're now in week 3, maybe 4. I've kind of lost count, but we still don't know what's going on. But there will be a legislative audit of this. Tell me what your expectations are for that legislative audit.
Well, I assume there will be. Senator Jimmy Hickey, not on a partisan basis, I don't believe, or an accusatory basis, is asking the Executive Committee of Legislative Audit to authorize the auditors, the independent auditors, to look at this whole lectern issue, as well as everything that's covered by the retroactive provision of the new FOI bill, on governor security. And I think they will go along with that. The governor's office says, we welcome the audit. Well, okay, let's go. I think that may be the only way out of this thing. We've got both interesting revelation and overheated innuendo taking place on social media driving this thing. The things that are revealed are serious enough to warrant investigation. The innuendo is out of control enough to need facts and context. Legislative audit. Many people may think that's a bunch of legislators sitting around doing political stuff. No, the Division of Legislative Audit is the functioning audit branch of state government. And, they're auditors. They know what they're doing. They take their time, and they have authority to act as they choose and to refer things to authorities when they find it necessary. I think that's the way to go. I think Hickey has the right idea. And it's the only way to work all this out, if it's possible, in the absence of the governor's office answering questions thoroughly and responsibly, which the governor's office over these weeks has not done.
I agree with you on that. All right. For those who are not super familiar with Senator Jimmy Hickey, he led the Senate in the previous legislative session, not this year's, but 2 years ago over there as the Senate President Pro Tem. He also, too, is a stickler for details. He's a banker by nature. He likes to, I think that he balances checkbook to the penny every month. Tell people about Senator Hickey and why you think he's the right guy to get to the bottom of this.
For a minute there, it was like you had gotten into my Word document file and read tomorrow's column. But Jimmy Hickey is he's an apolitical guy. He told me one day he just took his phone and pitched it to his wife and said, "Do you know how to get me off Twitter? This stuff is irresponsible and crazy." I think she did. He said all he gets anymore is screenshots from people of things on what's not called Twitter anymore, but whatever it's called. Banker, businessman from the beginning. He was a guy who said, well, why don't we find out about this? Why are we just arguing? Why are we making accusations and speculations? There are facts to be attained, and they are powerful. So let's get the numbers run on this thing. Let's analyze this. It's how he operates. I mean, being a legislator who's calling for this audit of the governor, he seems perhaps to be someone who's suspicious of the governor's office. And he may be, but it also could be that he's simply tired, as reasonable people can get, of these of accusations and innuendo flying and a vacuum of information on the other side. And we have the ability to turn some serious head down number specialists loose on this thing who have the authority to get in there and do it. And that's what he wants to do. And I think it's going to be hard to deny that. I mean, it would look pretty weird if they now said, no, we're not going to audit it, even with the governor's office claiming they welcome it. So, and he's always been that way. When he ascended to the Senate leadership, I thought it was a political move against Jim Hendren. Maybe it was, but it was his shtick was the Senate is its own agency within its own branch of government, and is not doing its work in terms of the balance of power, been too subservient to the governor's office, hasn't gathered its own information. That's been his thing, and that's what I think he's bringing to this potential solution, which will take plenty of time. It will take plenty of time if they do it and they do it right.
Let's talk about another development in this whole, again, lectern gate. I don't know of a better word to cause it. We have to put gate on everything here. But,
sure.
Tom Mars, former state police director during the Governor Mike Huckabee's administration, and certainly had some of their high-profile posts as well. Not a fan of the governors, not a fan of, I think, the former governor either, from what I can kind of deduce from his social media accounts. He's an attorney. He claims to be representing a whistleblower, somebody from within the governor's orbit who is not there now, who says there has been some fraud conducted on this. This is part of that accusation, that innuendo that's out there. But I do think that if Tom Mars is representing himself this way, he better have some, there better be some truth to it there, or he's ruining his reputation with people that would find him credible. What's your take on what Tom Mars has put out there so far?
What you just said. He's also in that column tomorrow, which I'm now convinced you have looked into. So,
I have not done that.
And, he was a top lawyer in his law class early in his career at the Rose Law Firm. People said he was a brilliant lawyer. He was Mike Huckabee's lawyer, which gives him some conservative bona fides from early in life. He was counsel to the governor, state police director, Walmart, eventually their chief counsel. And then he's become big in NCAA sports law. But along the way, he became sort of a liberal gadfly on steroids, to borrow a phrase from tomorrow. He tweets with incredible abandon, and frankly, he says things that I find, I wouldn't have said that if I were you, Tom. But Tom knows what he's doing, and he's on this thing big time. He's got this client. He wants to offer the client up to these auditors who would will make serious allegations. And if you just run his Twitter feed, I keep calling it Twitter, it's his X feed, you'll see that it's like he's up there amusing himself with a series of pretty fiery, incendiary posts. So he seems to have very little regard for the governor, and considering in the governor's office, and considering his reputation for knowing what he's doing, demonstrated by a lot of success in the courtroom, he is emerged as the governor's chief resistor. I anointed him that tomorrow. I'd like to be, Matt Campbell might be, but really right now, I would say the chief among resistors to this administration is her own father's former, I think, staff counsel or of counsel or doing some counsel work for Huckabee when he was governor, Mr. Mars. And yeah, you said you got to assume. Well, let's not assume anything. He is saying some strong things.
He's saying his accusation is that he represents a whistleblower from that office or that orbit who claims there has been some there have been some manipulation of some of the documents, is what he's basically claiming. That's
what he's saying. I wanted to talk around that. I didn't want to say it myself, but yeah, I mean, that's what he alleges. So as I conclude tomorrow's column, as you surely know by now, having read it, let's turn these auditors loose. Let's turn them loose. They've got, once they get the authority, then they can set their own agenda. They can choose on their own whether to talk to this whistleblower, and they are required by statute to refer any possible criminal activity to the prosecuting attorney. So that's where it needs to go, and I hope that gets done. And then we'll just have to be patient, because they do not work fast. They work thoroughly.
All right. I promise I have not read your column yet today, but I guess.
Well, no, you've just told it. You've just told
channel whatever it was that was in your mind. I know you that well, John. I know what you're going to write about. You want me to tell you what your Wednesday and Thursday columns will be about too? Do you know?
I'd rather. Well, that would really be good, since I haven't decided myself yet. Okay. That would really be impressive. All right.
You'll write about Brooks Robinson. How about that?
I might.
See. Right. We'll see how prescient I am. All right, he's John Brummett with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Thanks as always.
Thank you, my friend. See you.